I've been getting asked a lot about my coconut pecan cake. There's really not a lot of secrets, but I thought making a video might be the easiest way. So I'm not really gonna call this a recipe because the cake comes out of a box, but we'll call it a recipe enhancement. First you start with a white super moist cake or yellow, whatever color, I don't care, as long as it's not chocolate. Then
bite it.
This is just for my family, so I'm not worried about it. Then you dump that in here, plus all the germs get baked out. So far, so good. Next, we're using instant cheesecake pudding. I buy 2 boxes, one for the cake and one for the frosting, which I'll do in a little bit. Dump that in there. Then you have a cup of chopped pecans. I just break them up with my hand. I don't like little teeny pieces. And it's important that you put this in there while the cake is not wet, because if it's wet, they sink to the bottom. So about a half a bag of coconut, like that. The rest you reserve because you're gonna toast it. Just gonna mix these all together. When you coat the dry ingredients in the cake mix, supposedly it keeps it from sinking to the bottom. We'll find out when it comes out. I haven't made this cake in like a year. Half cup of oil, I just do what it calls for. You can do butter if you want to. Next, it calls for a cup of water, but I don't buy that, so I use a cup of whole milk because everything's better with milk. Calls for 3 eggs, whites, or 3 whole eggs. I have little bantam chickens, so I have 5 little eggs, which would probably be enough, but I'm throwing in one of the neighbor's eggs. They have bigger chickens. If you just have eggs from the store, I always do 1 extra egg. So if it calls for 3 eggs, I do 4. If it calls for 2, I do 3. Yes, you're supposed to whisk them first, but I don't do that. Rather than get a bowl dirty, I just get my eggs and I just mix them up. Now my eggs are whisked. Whisked? They are whisked, that's what they are. You can mix your cake by hand with a whisk. I have a KitchenAid. I just do it until it comes together, about a minute or so. I will bring it together a little bit more with a spatula, but you don't want to overmix your cake, otherwise it's tough. While the oven is preheating, I'm gonna get my cake into my pans. I actually prefer my copper pans, but I only have 1, so I'm using these today. They like to stick, so I put parchment paper in the bottom. Nothing's worse than a cake that sticks. And you just divvy it up like half and half. You want it to be even, so that way they bake even. Does that look even, Zeb? Mm-hmm. Okay. I just like to bang them down and then I spin them, and that kind of levels them out. Did I put oil in here?
Yes, you did. Okay. It looks a little thick. I think you got a lot of eggs in there.
Like a souffle?
No, I was thinking more like German pancakes.
Let's move it. All right, so 350 for 25 minutes. Next, we're gonna be making frosting. I don't have all the ingredients exactly measured out, but I always start with 1 brick of cream cheese, room temperature, 2 things of butter, which is what, like a cup of butter, 8 ounces of cream cheese, room temperature, and another pack of instant cheesecake pudding. I've got a little bit of milk over here and some powdered sugar, and I really just add the powdered sugar to taste.
It's got wings.
Ta-da! Probably not how you make a video about food. I just like to not touch it, so I just dump it in there. Dump that in, and probably a 1/4 cup of milk. You want cold milk, and then how much sugar is that? What, like?
Let's say you put a cup in.
2 cups.
2 cups.
And then a little extra.
You don't want it to be bitter.
I know, this is frosting. Now mix. Start slow, otherwise sugar gets everywhere. Because the pudding's instant and the milk is cold, it makes your frosting fluffy. Let me see if it tastes good. So I'm gonna test it, make sure there's enough sugar. Nope. That looks good.
You get frosting all on your lips.
It's pretty good. You don't want it to be too sweet because we're gonna put toasted coconut on the cake. And the cake itself is pretty sweet, so that's good. Zeb, test it and see. All right, we're gonna see if it's Zeb approved.
Yeah.
It's good?
Yep.
Not too sweet?
It's a little grainy.
Oh, okay, we'll whip it some more.
All right.
I mixed a little bit more and I want to show you like how fluffy the frosting should be. Some of this is because I whipped it really good, but a lot of this is because it's got that instant pudding in there, so it makes it fun to pipe. If you take it just like this and pipe it on your cake and then let it set in the fridge, it'll get almost like a crust, but it's still like soft on the inside. It's really good frosting. I dumped out the rest of the coconut and I'm going to just break up the pecans. I don't like to use a chopper because I like big chunks. You can use a chopper or a knife. My fingers were good. So we're gonna toast this in the oven, 350 for like 8 to 10 minutes. After 8 minutes, I like to watch it and just make sure because the coconut goes from like brown to black real quick. So I pulled these out after 25 minutes. Just make sure they're spongy. And even if they're not quite all the way done, they'll finish while they're cooling in their pans. I usually wait like 5 minutes and then I take them out of the pan so they don't overcook. This comes off in that graceful motion.
So beautiful.
So beautiful. Proof that the nuts did not all sink to the bottom. Ta-da! All right, this toasted up deliciously. My nuts are all toasted up and I will let these cool and we'll let the cake cool and then we'll frost it. I almost lost it. See how brown this part is? I don't like these. So I'm gonna move that aside and use these ones. This is a good mix. You wanna make sure the cake is all the way cooled because this frosting doesn't stay fluffy if it gets hot. I even found my inverted spatula. I put it in the fridge to cool, but you want it to get warm before you put on your cake. Okay, we've got our mixture that I put in a bowl of the coconut and the nuts. I'm gonna put this in the middle layer here.
It's for crunchy texture.
It's for the texture situation, it's necessary. I don't know, I just don't like it when any of the nuts fall out, so I like to, there we go, we're good. If you have not enough frosting, you start to like pull up the cake top and then you get crumbs in your topping, and there's no bueno. Oops, one of the nuts fell out.
Oh no.
It broke rank, sorry. So once you get it like decent over here, then you can like start bringing the frosting around. Disclaimer, I'm not going for the cake beauty, I'm going for the cake taste.
You going for that rustic look.
Stop filming!
Stop filming now!
See, we're almost there. It's still not perfect, but it's good enough. Anyways, so topping going on. You want like lots of topping. So it really doesn't matter if it's frosted perfectly. You can't really see it. This is the best part. It's not furniture, it's not home decor, but it's some good old-fashioned tasty cake. Now you know how I make my coconut pecan cake.